So a book is classified as AP level when it contains literary merit, which means it can withstand the test of time and has emotional complexity and can be realistic even though it's fictional. And so in Lesson Before Dying, Ernest Gaines, he tells a realistic fiction story about African Americans living in the mid-20th century in Louisiana and how they are treated with injustice even though they have really done nothing wrong. And so the main plot line, or the main story, is when this teenage boy named Jefferson is convicted of a crime he did not commit, and he is judged by white men, an all-white jury, and is sentenced to death by electrocution, even though there's no proof at all that he committed the crime that they're accusing him of. But he was considered guilty before the trial even began just because of the color of his skin. And so this story can withstand the test of time because today it's still prevalent how lots of minority races are suppressed or judged just by the way they look before someone gets to know a person. And so a lot of people today think that racism is not prevalent, but it really is so prevalent. People are just more low-key about it. And so Gaines writing this book makes people more aware of racism and where it is and like how it occurs, even though people don't even realize, because racism is really taught, and so people don't know. People who are like born into racism think that it's okay to like think lesser of a whole population just because of their skin color. And so Gaines is trying to bring attention to this, and he was bringing attention to it back then, and he's still bringing attention to it today because people are still being suppressed by the way they look when it's not really their fault. And so the first major theme of this novel is recognizing injustice and facing responsibility. So Grant, which is the narrator of this novel, he is an African American man, and he's really close with the godmother of Jefferson, the teenage boy who's being sentenced to death. And so after this whole court case happens, Grant is just fed up with the injustice that he lives through, and he's kind of over the whole black people being suppressed by society, and he just wants to run away from it instead of fight it. And so this shows a weak moment for him. He recognizes the injustice, but he doesn't possess the courage to fight through it. And so I think seeing his internal conflict throughout the novel, Gaines is showing how a person can be brought down so much that he also wants to give up, when giving up should not even be an option, because you cannot reach a goal when you give up. And so as the novel progresses, Grant realizes that he sees the strength in Jefferson's godmother, and notices how if she can fight, even though the only family she knows is going to be killed by the government, then all he can do is fight for what he believes in because it's the right thing to do. So, and then the second major theme of this novel is redemption and death. So during Jefferson's trial, the attorney that represents him he refers to him as an animal who is not intelligent enough to actually commit the crime that he committed, and that's how he recognized him. That's how he tried to fight for him, by degrading him and degrading his intelligence, to say that it was impossible for him to commit a crime like this because he wasn't smart enough to do so. And so Jefferson's godmother is outraged by this, because since he was convicted of murder and sentenced to death, she does not want him to die thinking that he was an animal. She wants him to die thinking he's a man, and with as much courage as possible, because you cannot be defeated even though circumstances are not on your side and everything's not on your side. You cannot be defeated by what their outcomes are. And so eventually, as the passage progresses, Grant goes to talk to Jefferson and explains to him that the strength that he must possess, and it has to show, and the courage he must show in order to show the white men that you did not defeat me, even though I'm going to die at your hand. You did not defeat me because I'm okay, and I'm going to die a man. And so that's how he earns his redemption. So like when he's walking to the death chamber, he is walking with courage and like with no fear in his heart. He's not showing any fear. He's showing strength and courage, and that empowers all the African Americans around him. And the white men even said how he was the strongest man in the room, even though he was the one with the worst circumstances. And so that is prevalent today in today's society, because a lot of people, when things don't turn out their way, they feel defeated and they just give up. And that's not the way to do it, because Jefferson was faced with the worst outcome possible, and he still came out on top just because of his attitude. And so I think it's important for people today to understand that even though things don't go your way all the time, you have to possess the right attitude and courage to get through it, because you're not going to get through anything if you're feeling defeated.